to be one where it was like Vegeta meeting Batman or something like that.
Oh God, Vegeta. Who was it? Oh nah. You're just like me, Hedgehog. Ooh. Long-term bestie, Amy.
We all know that Flash definitely beat Sonic here. But no same.
I'm with Sonic. I'm with you. All right, guys, so I'm kind of late to this, but today we are finally diving into the Sonic X DC crossover comic, okay? Now, look, y'all know me from the IDW stuff. Hi, hey. We don't read here, okay? We watch. We got Comics Explained here this time, though, and he's going to be going through the whole issue 1. If he does issue, like, the next issues and stuff, we'll be back on those. Yeah, this is a summary, so if I miss anything, feel free to let me know what I missed in the comment section below, or just give me your thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Like the video, and subscribe, and hit that bell, please. Let's make it like a Dragon Ball fan and not read.
Sonic the Hedgehog meeting the Flash is absolutely amazing, but you know what's better than that? All the characters in Sonic meeting the entire Justice League.
Okay.
That's what happens here, guys. This
you know
is
what
the
I'm saying?
Sonic DC.
Oh, we got the Black. Oh, what's this Green Lantern called? Not what he's called. Oh my God, what's his name? Which era of like Justice League are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Hold on, we got my boy Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? What's Cyborg's name? Victor Stone. Yes, sir. Booyah type shit. Okay, hold on.
Crossover comic, and I didn't even know this was happening. Like, I had no clue this was happening. Somebody tweeted it to me, and I was like, what? And then I looked it up, and I was like, I read it, and I was like, this is amazing. This story is so good. So,
okay, so shit.
This does is this picks up basically with a portal.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess we'll point out, because, you know, I've seen some discourse going around because, of course, there's Sonic discourse, you know what I'm saying? Amy references Lil Planet, and people was like, oh God, another Ian Flynn reference. And honestly, it's not that deep. And it's not even a bad one either. Like, this one's pretty calm. They're literally at Never Lake, apparently. Like, they're at Never Lake, where Little Planet shows up. So, I mean, they're probably there to see Little Planet, and then this thing comes up, and it's like, oh yeah, well, that's not Little Planet. Like, all right.
In Sonic's dimension, and
Darkseid
just like descending down in a pretty ominous looking ship.
It's crazy.
And right off the bat, Sonic and his guys don't necessarily know what to make of it. They initially think it's like a Dr. Robotnik type thing, right? You know, like, is this Dr. Eggman, right? Is it his whole thing? But of course, it's not. And then immediately after that,
we have Sonic just chowing down on a chili dog, bro.
Is it his whole thing?
It look good though, I ain't gonna lie.
It's not.
Like, goddamn, nigga.
And then immediately after that, parademons start descending down onto everybody.
Now, I'm not like super inverse in the DC lore, but you know what I'm saying?
Parademon. Just throw
Fill
it
me
out
in,
there. But right off the bat, right, Sonic and company make quick work of all these guys, as you would expect them to. I mean, the parademons are just foot soldiers, right? I mean, they're just the guys.
They like work types. They're
like
fodder.
The petties from Power Rangers, right? They go out there, they get slapped around, and then like Darkseid eventually shows up. But for the most part, they don't entirely know what's going on. And so, as you guys,
it's kind of cringe and unnecessary. I mean, not really. Why is it cringe? You guys only say it's cringe because everybody else have this like stigma of hating on references ever since they OD'd it in Frontiers. And yes, it is OD in Frontiers. And the ones in, oh God, the ones in Generations, y'all know how I feel about that one. Without the time stones, like I hate, oh my God, that's just bad. But this is literally not that, bro. Relax. You guys can't tie every single fucking reference or dialogue line back to like the bad stuff.
Guys who
it's just not that deep.
When it comes to parademons, it's a war of attrition, right? Parademons are basically just individuals from worlds and universes that Darkseid has conquered, who have just been like transformed into these demonic entities, literally rematerialized into something new. It's a painful and arduous process, but it happens nonetheless. And so Darkseid has effectively a limitless army of soldiers. Sonic and them are impressive, but they can't last that long. So they bail out. And honestly, the line of logic
is
pretty straightforward, right?
Like
the argument from really both Tails and Amy basically being like, if a portal opened here, there have to be portals elsewhere. Let's get a lay of the land and let's figure out what's going on.
Let me read some of this dialogue because, oh God, is anybody out of character? Those things were coming out of some kind of portal. It stands to reason if one opened up here, there's others elsewhere. Okay, W, Tails thinking and Amy thinking type shit.
Get a lay of the land and let's let's figure out what's
Hang tight,
going
we'll make
on.
this quick. Okay,
At that
tight.
point, you switch to Angel
Hold on,
Island,
Knuckles?
right? And then you have like Knuckles.
Okay,
dealing with
Knuckles?
parademons.
Okay.
And as you guys know, Knuckles, he didn't take lip off of anybody. And so Knuckles immediately starts putting these guys to work, like
Oh
smacking
yeah, another thing with the references. This is supposed to get DC niggas into this shit too. So like little callbacks to like other stuff with Sonic, be like, oh, whoa, there's like a planet-sized thing, like our Darkseid planet-sized thing or whatever. Like, what do we? Huh? Interesting. Maybe I might check it out.
these guys around. But then you switch over to Darkseid himself. Now the thing about this is he's told by
Darkseid,
right? The
now,
Father
bro,
Box also detects
are they gonna fight
that
Darkseid,
the
bro?
gem has the power to neutralize
Like,
what
they gonna
we're
beat him up.
searching for. And that in turn is when
That'd be fucking
Darkseid
nuts.
says, like, destroy it. And Darkseid initially warns him. He says it'll take much of the Ragnarok's energy reserves to do so, and we will lose a potential totem of arcane.
Wait, so they're trying? They're after the Master Emperor? Of course they are. After the Chaos Emeralds, Father Box also detects that the gem has the power to neutralize what we're searching for, then eliminate it as you can. Okay, yep, type shit. It will take. Yep, okay. So
Power.
for the DC niggas, hey, us Sonic guys, we really like to make sure that our characters are in character. Let me know if these guys are also in character or you think otherwise.
But the response of Darkseid, if you make me repeat myself, there's going to be consequences and repercussions. So Darkseid doesn't repeat himself, and Darkseid issues the command. In destroying this crystal, it sinks and pretty much obliterates the entirety of Angel Island.
Oh,
Technically,
shit.
it like plunges it down into the water, but it's not
Wait, did
really a
Knuckles
place
get
you
out of
can
there?
get to
He
easily
got out of there,
anymore.
right?
And so
Assuming.
following that, with
Oh my
Sonic
God.
and Amy realizing that like all these portals are open.
there's a flash, there's a flash.
Which is how Darkseid works, right? When he arrives on the scene, boom tubes start popping up everywhere, right? And like parademons just start invading from all over the place. It's why a Darkseid invasion is usually so deadly and goes off without a hitch. It's not one giant portal where just millions of parademons come flowing out, and it's just a portal you can easily shut. It's hundreds of portals with parademons pouring out of it. And so when that happens, Sonic is suddenly met by the arrival of the Flash.
The Flash comes in first, of course. You know what I'm saying? Speed Demon. Yeah, I've seen this Crackle. Like somebody was making a reference, or somebody was explaining what Crackle is. I guess it's like a little Flash companion that's like blue and like electrical or whatever. So they confused it. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. But I saw that comparison on Twitter. I actually am a fan of the interactions of Sonic and the Flash here. Other than like some minor nitpicks, I love it. Like I was like, I love it. I love this shit.
And the exchange between the two of them is amazing,
It's so good.
right? Because
I think Sonic's really good here.
Flash doesn't know who Sonic is, and he actually calls him like Crackle, right? He's like, "What are you doing here?" And the response to Sonic is like, "Dude, you've got the wrong one, man. But I like the cut of your jib, right? I like your
tight
hustle."
shit, like mutual. Okay, hold on, another speedster type shit. Okay, tight.
And so the response of Flash, he's like, "Sorry, man. Like you're one of the locals. Okay, that's fine. Hang back. We'll handle the parademons." Sonic responds, right? He's just like, "That's adorable. You can help out if you can keep up." And so at that point, Flash is like, "Listen, dude, like I'm the Flash. I'm speed personified." And Sonic responds with the best response he could.
I love the pill out, bro. I love the pill out. I'm not a fan of this response though. I think he's about to gas it up. I'm not a fan of this response. I find that to be kind of corny coming from Sonic. I feel like he could have said something else here.
Maybe here. He's like,
it's not that big of a deal though.
Perfected, and immediately bolts off. Right? He's like, "I'll send you a postcard, partner," and like vanishes. Right? It's absolutely amazing.
The pill out art is fire though.
With each other, but it is
I love that
really
shit.
awesome to see these two guys encounter each other. Then at that point,
okay, so
we switch over to another hedgehog. Now, as you guys know, this hedgehog, he looks like he's Silver, and that's his name. Silver the Hedgehog. You can tell they were phoning it in when they gave that guy his name. But Silver the Hedgehog's from the future, and essentially he has psychokinesis, right? Telekinesis and psychic powers, for lack of a better word. But he's met by the arrival of John Stewart, the Green Lantern.
John Stewart, okay.
And I'm going to call it right now. I have no idea if it's going to happen. I think Silver is going to become a deputized Green Lantern.
Oh, dude, that would be cool. Well, we've seen the stuff where they're wearing all their outfits, so honestly, that's probably going to happen. He's probably going to get a ring, bro. That's going to be cool.
Lantern in the story.
That'd be cool as fuck.
That's going to be amazing. It's going to be phenomenal. Imagine a psychic with Green Lantern powers. Like, who knows what this guy could dream up? And then, of course, you have this instance where
now Batman and Shadow, okay.
And then in turn, Batman and Shadow team.
Hold on, Shadow saving people? Hold on, tight shit.
And I think we can all just kind of admit here that Shadow the Hedgehog is basically the Batman of the Sonic universe. And if he wasn't before,
I feel like some people
calling it now.
not gonna
I'm
like
making
that.
declaration now. That is an accurate statement.
I feel like some
that
people not
point,
gonna like
you pick
that.
up with Tails and Amy, and they're met with the arrival of Cyborg and Wonder Woman.
Art's fire,
so,
bro.
Everybody's kind of popping in like these small little moments. Now,
Oh yeah, he said booyah, yeah, type shit. You okay, Victor?
No, there's only one member of the Justice League left who's missing. One guy who's missing. And you guys know this man's on his way. And he shows up in the best way ever. Because at that point, you pick up with Calabac. Again, another
whoa, Knuckles about to smack the shit out of this dude. Hold on, Bleach? Bleach, when you hit the flash step and you pop up behind him, is this Kubo? Is this Kubo's doing?
The son of Darkseid. While all this is going on, Knuckles cracks this guy, right? Because what ends up happening is Calabac is distracted by Wonder Woman and Cyborg. And he literally says, enlist as many critters as you want to. It's not going to make a difference, right? Everybody's going to die, right? This guy gets the business end of a Knuckles sandwich. And then in turn, I did not mean to make that pun. And then in turn, Superman shows up and decks Calabac. And it's just like, dude, Superman's on the scene.
The foot dive? Bro, you are not Dr. Doom.
Superman shows up and decks Calabac, and it's
that's
just like, dude,
wait, that's
Superman's
Darkseid's son, like one of his sons. He doesn't look very important.
And so at that point, it all goes into kind of like the explanation and dialogue section of the story, because Sonic and his guys have no clue what's going on here. Of course, as you guys know, the Justice League is well versed in Darkseid. And so that's why Shadows just like start with the explanations. Who are these guys? Of course, Sonic and Flash show up at the nick of time. We all know that Flash definitely beat Sonic here. But no sane human being would make a credible argument.
Yeah, I vote with Sonic. I vote with you. I vote with you. Nah. Okay. He talking that shit though. He talking that shit. I like it.
Flash. That's nonsense. But the reality is, like, once they show up here on the scene, at that point, Sonic's like, hey, you know, like, anybody care to bring us up to speed? Especially for Flash, because he's so slow. And so with Sonic just talking all this mad trash, it's like hilarious banter between the two. Because at that point, Superman, of course, starts introducing members of the Justice League. He introduces himself.
Hold on. Flash with the clapback. Flash with the clapback. Hold on, what's he say? If you were half as fast as your mouth, you'd type shit. It's like clock's like, nah, hey, look. Let's lock in type shit. I love it, bro. I love it.
Superman, of course, starts introducing members of the Justice League. He introduces himself as essentially the chairman, right, of the Justice League. You got Wonder Woman, you got John Stewart. He introduces the Flash, who also adds in
don't look at me like that, don't look at me
Cyborg,
like that.
of course, as well as Batman. And so that's where Sonic introduces his supporting cast. And this, I think, needs a little more attention than the Justice League. It's the Justice League of America's son. But I got to tell you guys, man, I had to look up most of the Sonic characters. I know Sonic, I know Tails, and I know Knuckles. But only because I stopped playing the Sonic games when I was like 13 or 14 years old with Sonic and Knuckles. And I kind of skimmed a few when the Dreamcast came out, but like that was it. And so Sonic like goes through and starts introducing everybody, right? Of course, there's Tails, who's basically like the tech guy of the Sonic comics.
Ooh. Long-term bestie, Amy.
Technically has a huge crush on Sonic, and I'm sure he's probably clapped those cheeks a couple times. But he's
hey, yo! What the?
Zones her in front of the Justice League, right? He's like, this is my bestie.
Hey, fucking yo!
Right, so that sucks. Knuckles, of course, as you guys know, like, pretty awesome. Like, that dude's tough. So,
I am fucking crying.
Future, that kind of thing. And then Shadow, who
is that's the hilarious scene from my outside perspective into this
shit. But that's
shit.
where Knuckles, like, enough with the pleasantries, man. Like, who's responsible for this? Fill us in on all this stuff. Now, a lot of you guys know who Darkseid is. What's cool is the way they do his story in the comic. Because, of course...
So why is Silver here? Let me guess. A time portal? Out of nowhere. Okay, yeah, let me just go hang out with my pals since I have nobody in the future.
Well, Cyborg comes along and says, you know, his name is Darkseid, that he's bad news, conquering worlds, looking for the anti-life equation. Basically, a kind of mathematical proof that would allow him to bend people's individual wills to whatever it is that he wants it to be. And that's
he's goated. Oh, yeah.
We stopped his actions in the past. But here's where you tie into the Sonic comic, because she says he's launched a mobile satellite called the Ragnarok that can cross dimensions. Our guess is he's seeking worlds and powers outside the normal scope of our multiverse to fuel his conquest. And Cyborg in turn says to find your world, Darkseid had to cast a wide net. I have some of his tech integrated into my systems, so I picked up on his search, which is really just kind of a good way to say that, like, that's how the Justice League realized what was going on. Literally, Cyborg's eating lunch, a red light starts blinking on his suit, and he sees that Darkseid is like leaving the multiverse and going somewhere else. Bad news for all parties involved. And so Cyborg continues on and he says, we were able to make a boom tube of our own to try and intercept him before things got bad. And that's where Silver chimes in and is like, I mean, if he's here, there's only one thing he can really be after, right? He's hunting for the Chaos Emeralds. Now, the Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic universe, as I understand it, and again—
What the fuck? You're a robot?
I'm not an expert in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, we never continued that Archie thing, did we?
But there's 7 emeralds that exist out there in Sonic lore. Now again, because I'm not an expert, I'm turning to a lot of you guys out there who are Sonic fans to kind of fill in the gaps and give me a better understanding of how the Chaos Emeralds work. But as I understand them, there are these emeralds of fantastic power, and those who wield them, even if they only wield one, are capable of incredible feats. I don't know that I would go so far as to say they're like the Sonic version of Infinity
Power that's enriched by the hearts, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Infinity Stones has its own unique power. The Soul Stone, the Reality Stone, Time Stone, Mind Stone, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to the Chaos Emeralds, I don't know if each individual emerald has its own individual power.
Nah, they don't. Well, I mean, unless you look at Superstars. Nah. They just straight up like have crazy, insane energy levels, you know what I'm saying?
It's just a reflection of seemingly—
You dropped Archie. I dropped Archie?
Of life. So life exists, it feeds the crystals themselves feed life into everything else in existence. So it's almost a kind of symbiotic relationship. As I understand it, there are artifacts out there that are more powerful than the Chaos Emeralds, but the Chaos Emeralds are pretty incredible. So if I were to try to make a poor man's analogy between like Marvel and Sonic, I would say the Chaos Emeralds are probably more like a cosmic cube than anything else, but they are powerful nonetheless. And so the assumption here is that Darkseid is going after the Chaos Emeralds, because John Stewart says with that kind of power, he could fuel the Ragnarok and destroy countless worlds. And then Batman says, or just bypass his search and manifest the anti-life equation directly. And so the question is asked by Wonder Woman, is there any way to counter their power? But that's what Knuckles says, no. That was the attack he had on Angel City. When he took that down—
I'm sorry, Angel City is crazy. Angel City is crazy. Wait, so did he blow up the Master Emerald?
He took out the way to counter what it is that he's doing. So we got to—
He obviously doesn't know what the fuck the Master Emerald is, type shit. But
old-fashioned way. And that's where Superman's
or
just like, I mean,
Angel
that works for me. He says, we know what he's after and we know what's at stake. That's more than we had a minute ago.
How are you feeling, Shadow fans? Shadow fans, how are you feeling?
So let's use our insight and our abilities to create a new plan.
I work alone.
Shadow just kind of walks away, right? He's like, I don't have time for this.
I'll handle him. Look, I got this. I got this. Oh, God.
Leaves. And at that point, Batman goes to talk with him. Now, this is a phenomenal—
You're a Shadow fan? You answer? I don't want to. I'm scared.
moment between these two characters. Truthfully, I kind of expected the relationship between Shadow and Batman.
That's kind of like the this is literally like the better version of in Urban Warfare when he was like, I don't have time for this, but he was looking all angrily and like mean and like type shit. You know what I'm saying? I think this one's definitely like the inverse of that one for sure. He definitely still looks a little bit pissed, but he's all like, I'll go handle this shit. You guys are talking in circles here. Let's just keep this pushing type B, right? I think Urban Warfare, what he say? He said, I don't care about none of this like type shit. It's a little annoying, but the next page makes up for it. Type shit.
Moment between these two characters. Truthfully, I kind of expected the relationship between Shadow and Batman to be one where it was like Vegeta meeting Batman or something like that.
Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh God, Vegeta. Who was it? Oh nah. You're just like me, Hedgehog. Wait, is this they gotta do a callback to the fucking TMNT. This is where I watched my parents die, Raphael. And it's just like, cowabummer. The guy did a comment to that. That would be funny as fuck. The one you couldn't protect, the one you watched die in front of you. Oh god, you read him like a fucking
moment
book.
between these two characters. Truthfully, I kind of expected the relationship between Shadow and Batman to be one where it was like Vegeta meeting Batman or something like that. All they do is just kind of sit around and grunt at each other and beat up bad guys. But instead, like, you have this great interaction where Batman's just like, who was it? Right? And Shadow's like, what are you talking about? And Batman says, the one that you couldn't protect, the one you watched die in front of you. And Shadow's like, how could you possibly know that? And Batman tells a story, right? He says, for me, it was my parents. I was too young, too weak to do anything. That pain, that anger, it never leaves you. I see it in you too. And that's where Shadow lets his guard down. And those of you guys who are familiar with this character in the Sonic mythos, it never happens that way. So the ability of Batman to reach Shadow in such a way to where he immediately starts...
I fought with this guy. He gets me. Hold on. Hold on. I can see people not liking the fact that, he's spilling about Maria again. But again, trying to get DC niggas into this shit, I'm fine with it. Whatever. They like, DC niggas are gonna read this shit too. And they're gonna be like, okay, what the fuck is up with this guy? And it's like, oh, I see. Interesting. Maria, what's that? I might buy Sonic X Shadow Generations to know more.
Batman his story, even displaying this momentary instance of vulnerability is a huge...
Oh my.
Because Shadow just says her name was Maria. She was gunned down by the military while trying to keep me safe. Me, the ultimate life form. And the response of Batman, which is him bridging the gap between the two, is Maria. I swore to never let it happen again. To protect the city my parents loved, to protect the world, I will use every advantage at my disposal. That includes the Justice League. And here's where things become important, because it's not enough to simply say, well, my story's similar to yours. Because at that point, Shadow would just be like, well, I mean, that's good for you. You have to give him a reason to want to be a part of everything. And that's why Batman says, you're a valuable asset in stopping Darkseid. Likewise, we'd be valuable to you. And so ultimately, Shadow says, okay, then you better be worth the trouble. Now, from that point to the rest of the story, all they really do is just grunt at each other, or they don't say anything at all. But it is cool.
But W interactions, though. Hold on, W interaction
between the two, right, where they're kind of able to find some solidarity, some common ground. And so at that point,
I need to see Shadow and Damian box. I don't know why. Yeah, definitely, he's definitely aura farming for sure. But I need Shadow and Damian just a box. I don't know why. There's no real reason, like any similarities there that I'm thinking about. Like, I don't know if there are. I just want to see them. I just want to see them scrap. I don't know why.
Turns into the question of, okay, so like, what do we do? Right, if we have to do this the old-fashioned way,
Shadow or Teen Titans Robin, who fucking wins?
Thing unfold, and that's where Tails is like, okay, so we have a lot of experience in tracking down the Chaos Emeralds, but not really under such a tight deadline. So I've been developing a tracking system in my lab that can do that. Now, of course, this is right in the wheelhouse of Cyborg, right? So he's like, I mean, what kind of tech are we working with here?
Hold on, what you got, little nigga?
It's the most
moment
ever, and I love it. Because
it's
just like, it's a speculative quantum mapping algorithm, but it's not quite out of beta yet. And Cyborg's like, I recognize some of those words. Let me go with you and see your facility. But in all reality, like, he knows exactly what Tails is talking about.
With the locals,
so these two guys get to geek out over tech, which sounds amazing. And then in turn, Sonic's like, here's the thing. I totally get you guys are working on a tracking device, and that's fine. But our backs are against the wall here. We don't necessarily have time to sit around and play cards until you guys are done. So we're going to go out there and do our thing while you guys work in the shop. And in turn, Silver's just like, yeah, I mean, Darkseid's forces are hunting the emeralds right now. We need to do something about it. And so in turn, they all split up into groups. Then of course, Tails and Cyborg, they split up into a group in order to go back to Tails' lab. Superman and Knuckles team up, and they do a little bit of history with each other, right? Kind of learning about the other.
My whole island is gone, and it remains poison you. Wait, and it remains poison you? That's too cruel. Oh, my fault. I read world as island, my fault. It was covered up a little bit. Your whole world is gone and it remains poison you. That is fucking crazy. Maybe but I cherish my life on Earth. It makes it all the more important I keep it safe.
Superman and Knuckles team up.
You're right,
Soups. A little bit of history with each other, right? Kind of learning about the other person, right? Knuckles is like, your whole world's gone and its remains are poison to you. That's pretty cruel, man. That's pretty messed up, right? And Superman's just like, I mean, you know, I cherish my life on Earth, and it makes it all the more important that I keep it safe.
And he's in
But
a
we all
flying
know,
car.
like, in his heart of hearts, Superman would love
Cross
to go back
worlds?
home. And that's where Knuckles was like, I mean, you're not a bad guy, right? You have like Amy who's meeting Wonder Woman for the first time, and Wonder Woman's like, I mean, your car can fly, and Amy's like, I mean, yeah, man, but like you can fly, so like that's infinitely better. And
You have an
she's kinda
invisible
like, I mean, you know,
jet?
it's cool, you know. I mean, I like to be able to drive around sometimes. Like, I have an invisible jet, and Amy's like, you have an invisible jet.
She's
So,
like,
it's
Wonder Woman's
cool
the
to see these
coolest
characters interacting.
woman of all
course,
time.
Shadow and Batman are just
Yeah!
riding on their motorcycles, not saying a word to each other. But in turn, you pick back up with Cyborg and Tails, right? And Cyborg is just like, here, if I integrate some of the Mother Box software, we can reduce the variance noise and boost the global aperture. I recognize some of those words, kind of, not really. I just want to sound like I do. And so Tails is just like, dude, you upgraded my
Got that shit from
entire system
Mermaid Man.
100-fold in seconds. Like, you're amazing. And Cyborg's like, look, man, don't sell yourself short. Like, the fact that I was even able to integrate with your systems shows how advanced your systems are. Now, again, following this, you pick up with Silver and John Stewart. And Silver's like, dude, so your ring can make anything you want, like anything at all? And that's where John's like, yeah, I mean, the ring runs off of imagination and willpower. So as long as I can imagine it and I have a clear idea and a need for that individual idea, I can do anything I want to so long as I have the willpower to see it through. And that's where Silver's like, dude, that's amazing, man. Like, mind over matter. But that's where I say, dude, like, he's going to become a Green Lantern. I feel like he's going to become a Green Lantern in this story. I really hope he does. And then, of course, there's the whole interaction between Sonic and the Flash yet again.
It's really all natural, no crazy mass science treadmill accents or anything. Hold on, they're talking about how Sonic's natural, like he's just naturally speedy. Hold on, tight shit.
It's just kind of like a banter that goes on.
Yeah, but I can electrify sometimes. Like, no, you can't.
Between these guys,
You
where the
shouldn't
Flash is
be
like,
doing
so
that at
you're
all.
100% natural, right? Like, you don't have any experiments
This
or
is
anything
thumbnail.
of that kind
Holy,
whatsoever.
this thumbnail.
You just run this fast on your own. And
What you
Sonic's
see
like,
is what
yeah,
you get.
I mean,
I'm just a hedgehog who loves adventure. Yeah! Let's go. You love to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Like, I'm naturally fast. The problem is that when they actually get to their destination, Darkseid's already beat them there.
Oh,
And so
God. Oh, dear.
it's like, yeah, I mean,
Bro,
I'm just a
look, they're
hedgehog
best
who
friends,
loves adventure.
bro.
Like, I'm naturally
They're
fast.
besties,
The
bro.
problem is
They're long-term besties. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Is this the place? Yep. When in doubt, start with the South Island and go from there. Oh crap! You got it. Wait, you got it in one blue. You got it in one. You got it in one blue. But basically, he's calling him Blue. You know what I'm saying? Like little nickname type shit.
that when they actually get to their destination, Darkseid's already beat them there. And so at that point, Sonic's like, I mean, is that the guy? And Flash is like, yeah. And the last thing Darkseid says here is
that the
it
guy
all
red?
starts
Hold on,
with
that
this,
shit, hold on.
a gem containing the ultimate power. So he's got his hands on a Chaos Emerald.
You're not
so
Shadow.
I'm excited to see where the story goes, guys, because with that being
You're
said,
not Shadow.
we're going to bring this to an end. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section.
Okay, that's actually a really good first issue, bro. That's actually a really good first issue. Yeah, I don't have much problems with this. Let me know what you guys think, honestly, in the comments. But it's cool. That's cool. I love crossovers. I love crossovers. The pairings like make the most sense. I feel like Amy's just here because like with Diana, because strong, independent woman, long-term bestie. Like that's really fucking crazy. And she doesn't react to that. Nasty work. Now hold on now, Rob. I think that's your name. What's up with you? Like, oh, he clapped Amy's cheeks, man. What's up with you, man? What's up with you, bro? This is a kid-friendly comic, brother. This is your usual comic book shit where, you know what I'm saying, fucking Namor is like trying to rizz up fucking Invisible Woman, and you know what I'm saying, like this is not that, brother. It's not that. Calm down. Calm the fuck down, alright? But overall, this is a W video. But yeah, it's actually cool that we're watching his shit because it's an outside perspective, and we get more knowledge on the DC side because I am not the DC nigga. So cool. Sonic fans, Ian Flynn. Will we get Supersonic? Oh god. Can we please get a Supersonic Shadow and Silver like something, please. That would be it'd be so good. I think the writing in some parts could be tightened up a little bit, but yeah, I fuck with it. I'm a big fan. But yeah, of course, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Like the video. Yeah, it helps me. Makes me happy, makes me smile. And subscribe to your boy and hit that bell so you know when I upload my next video. But that's it. I'm out, deuces. Bye.